When I Love Lucy exploded onto American television in 1951, it looked like pure joy, laughter, love, and effortless chemistry. But decades later, Vivian Vance would quietly admit that the truth behind those smiles was far more complicated. For years, fans believed a harmless rumor, that she'd been forced to gain weight to make Lucille Ball look thinner. That story wasn't just wrong, it was a distraction. Because what really happened behind the cameras involved resentment, power plays, and emotional damage no one wanted to talk about. So buckle up. This is the side of I Love Lucy you were never meant to see. I Love Lucy was adapted from a radio show called My Favorite Husband. Before she became a television icon, Lucille Ball spent the 1940s working steadily, but quietly, as a B-movie actress at MGM, often cast in forgettable dramatic roles. The big breakthrough never seemed to come. Tired of waiting for Hollywood to notice her, Ball made a bold decision. Instead of chasing fame on screen, she would bring herself directly into people's homes through radio. In 1948, she walked away from film to star in the CBS radio series My Favorite Husband. The show centered on Liz Cugat and her long-suffering husband George, a man forever trying and failing to keep up with his impulsive, mischievous wife. The dynamic was instantly relatable, and audiences loved it. The success didn't go unnoticed. By the time the radio show was deep into its second season, CBS executives realized television was about to explode. Rather than let the concept fade, they decided to reinvent it for the screen. After nearly 4 years on radio, My Favorite Husband ended, only to be reborn as I Love Lucy. Lucille Ball wanted Desi Arnaz as her co-star in order to save their marriage. Lucille Ball met Desi Arnaz in 1940 on the Hollywood set of Too Many Girls. By the end of that same year, they ran off to Greenwich, Connecticut, and quietly got married. While Ball's film career gained momentum with an MGM contract, Arnaz's acting prospects stalled. As later noted in the I Love Lucy book, Arnaz wasn't content staying home in their sprawling Chatsworth house and watching Lucille become the sole breadwinner. A successful bandleader before Hollywood, he returned to music and began touring the country with his orchestra. By 1944, the strain had taken its toll, and Ball filed for divorce, worn down by Arnaz's drinking and repeated infidelities. He was rarely home, often away on the road or out late into the night. Before the divorce was finalized, however, the two decided to try again. Ball believed the only way to save their marriage was to keep Arnaz close. So when CBS approached her about adapting My Dear Husband for television, she agreed, on one condition, that her husband would star alongside her. CBS didn't want Desi Arnaz to play the lead. When Lucille Ball insisted that her real-life husband, Desi Arnaz, play her on-screen partner in a television version of My Dear Husband, CBS pushed back hard. According to Ball biographer Kathleen Brady, the network argued that audiences wouldn't believe a red-blooded American girl could be married to a Cuban man. Ball shot back without hesitation. "What do you mean nobody'll believe it? We are married." Determined to prove the network wrong, Ball and Arnaz took their partnership on the road. Touring with Arnaz's band, they developed a fast-paced slapstick routine that showcased their chemistry. When the act opened at the Chicago Paramount Theater, Variety praised the couple, noting that their sharp banter and burlesque comedy could make them one of vaudeville's top comedy teams if they continued. By the end of 1950, CBS finally relented and gave the green light to My Favorite Husband, which soon evolved into I Love Lucy, introducing America to Lucy and Ricky Ricardo, the television sweethearts who would change TV history. I Love Lucy was a technical marvel. After winning her first battle, casting her real-life husband, Desi Arnaz, alongside her on I Love Lucy, Lucille Ball pushed for one more crucial change, filming the show in Los Angeles. At the time, this was unheard of. Television was produced live in New York and preserved on kinescopes, grainy recordings made by filming a TV screen. The show's sponsor, Philip Morris, strongly objected. They didn't want East Coast audiences, used to crisp live broadcasts, seeing the show in the inferior quality everyone else got on kinescope. Ball and Arnaz offered a radical solution: shoot the series on film, preserving it in high quality. Film was costly, but it ensured the show would last. One reason I Love Lucy still looks so good today. To make it practical, the couple revolutionized television production. They pioneered the multi-camera format, using 3 cameras at once on adjoining sets, filmed before a live studio audience and shot straight through like a stage play. Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz create Desilu. Even with all the efficiencies built into I Love Lucy, the show still cost about $5,000 more than the original contract allowed. Rather than compromise, Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz formed Desilu Productions, television's first independent production company, and paid the extra cost themselves to produce the pilot. In exchange, they retained full ownership of the show. It turned out to be a masterstroke. Owning the series meant Ball and Arnaz earned far more than actor salaries, especially once reruns became a constant presence on television. After I Love Lucy became a massive hit, Arnaz expanded Desilu's slate, producing successful shows like The Untouchables and The Ann Sothern Show. To fuel further growth, Desilu sold its syndication rights to CBS for $5 million, giving up rerun profits but gaining the capital to buy RKO Studios in 1957. The studio soon became home to classics like The Dick Van Dyke Show and The Andy Griffith Show. No character could say "pregnant" on I Love Lucy. During the second season of I Love Lucy, Lucille Ball became pregnant with the couple's second child, Desi Arnaz Jr. Desi Arnaz wanted to write the pregnancy into the show, but the idea met strong resistance from CBS and sponsor Philip Morris. As noted in The Other Side of Ethel Mertz, pregnant women were still considered inappropriate for television in 1952. But with the show dominating the ratings, Ball and Arnaz refused to back down, and eventually, the network relented. Strict rules remained. Ball could appear pregnant, but the word pregnant itself was forbidden. The episode was titled Lucy is enceinte, using the French word instead. The restriction actually added to the comedy, as Lucy struggles to tell Ricky the news until he finally breaks into the song, "We're having a baby." Audiences loved the storyline. According to the AV Club, the supposed moral panic existed only among executives. The pregnancy arc ran for 7 episodes and culminated in Lucy Goes to the Hospital, watched by an astonishing 44 million viewers. Ironically, a later episode titled Pregnant Women Are Unpredictable slipped through censorship. I Love Lucy owed a lot to Mary Kay and Johnny. I Love Lucy is often credited with pioneering many television firsts, and in many ways it earned that reputation. But several of those milestones actually belong to an earlier sitcom, Mary Kay and Johnny, the first married couple sitcom ever broadcast. The show aired live and wasn't preserved on kinescope until later, and according to Vivian Vance, no recordings are known to survive. As a result, the series exists only in the memories of its original viewers, which is why I Love Lucy, still endlessly rerun, is often assumed to be the first to portray the private life of a married couple. Vance also noted that while I Love Lucy is frequently credited as the first show to place a married couple in bed together, that distinction actually belongs to Mary Kay and Johnny. Not only were the characters shown in a bedroom, they shared the same bed, unlike Lucy and Ricky Ricardo's famously separate twin beds. As later observed by Snopes, the show's 1947 debut may have benefited from television being so new that audiences and executives hadn't yet grown squeamish about such details. Like Lucy and Ricky, Mary Kay and Johnny Stearns were married in real life. Their real-life pregnancy was written into the series, their infant son appeared on screen, And the show even aired an episode in which Mary Kay gave birth at a hospital, timed to coincide with the birth of their actual child. Fred and Ethel Mertz hated each other on and off screen. On screen, Fred and Ethel Mertz bickered constantly, and audiences loved it. Off screen, that tension was just as real. Vivian Vance and William Frawley genuinely disliked each other. Vance, who came from Broadway, felt insulted by being paired with Frawley, a seasoned character actor who had appeared in more than 100 films. In The Other Side of Ethel Mertz, she famously scoffed, "How can anyone believe I'd be married to that old coot?" Frawley's response was far less printable. Though he had a reputation for heavy drinking and unprofessional behavior, his talent kept him on I Love Lucy. The feud stayed hidden thanks largely to Hedda Hopper, a close friend of Lucille Ball. Hopper helped suppress any negative press, while the studio released glowing statements about a harmonious cast, even quoting Vance calling Frawley a darling. For years, viewers had no idea that behind the laughter, the fighting was very real. Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz were not Ricky and Lucy. In many ways, I Love Lucy mirrored real life. Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz were married, Arnaz was a band leader, and their real baby was even born the same day Lucy and Ricky Ricardo welcomed a child on screen. But off camera, the marriage was far from idyllic. As noted in Ball on Fire, Lucy often spent the week alone with the baby, while Desi escaped to his yacht, Desilu, partying with friends who had been banned from their home. Others saw the cracks clearly. Jerry Hausner, who played Ricky's agent in the pilot, told the Washington Post that Arnaz frequently showed up drunk, once screaming insults at him in front of a live audience, prompting Hausner to ask to be written out. Lucy had hoped the show would hold their family together, but Arnaz's drinking and affairs continued. By 1955, the turmoil spilled into public view when the tabloid Confidential ran a cover asking, "Does Daisy really love Lucy?" The article quoted Arnaz making a crude remark about his behavior, confirming what many already suspected. Behind television's happiest marriage was a deeply troubled one. Ricky never says, "Lucy, you got some splaining to do." Great sitcoms are remembered for their catchphrases. Friends had How You Doin', Good Times gave us Dynamite, and the Brady Bunch is forever linked to Marcia, Marcia, Marcia. For I Love Lucy, most people swear it's Ricky Ricardo saying, "Lucy, you got some splainin' to do." The catch is, he never actually says it. Ricky uses variations of splain, but the famous line itself seems to have been misquoted by a journalist late in the show's run and then repeated until it became true. The show was also careful about how Ricky's accent was treated. While fans enjoyed quoting it, the writers learned early on that audiences didn't like hearing other characters mock him. As Stephen Confer explains in Ball on Fire, those jokes only worked when they came from Lucy herself, because her teasing was clearly rooted in affection, not ridicule. Lucy gets into a real fight in the grape stomping episode. The famous grape stomping scene comes from the I Love Lucy episode, Lucy's Italian Movie. In the story, an Italian director hires Lucy to play an American tourist, but she mistakenly believes she's been cast as a grape stomper, a job that was already obsolete by then. As Ball on Fire notes, Desi Arnaz managed to track down one of the last real grape stompers, a woman named Teresa, to appear opposite Lucy. Teresa didn't speak English and relied on a translator, which made filming unpredictable. Lucille Ball later recalled that the vat was filled with real grapes and that she began dancing, then slipped. What followed looked hilarious on screen, but was chaos in real life. Teresa began hitting her back, pinning her down as Lucy struggled for air, grapes everywhere. The crew thought it was brilliant slapstick. In reality, Lucy was fighting to get free. Adventures in hiring non-actors for job switching. The episode, officially titled Job Switching, is better known as I Love Lucy's legendary Candy Factory scene, where Lucy Ricardo and Ethel Mertz take jobs wrapping chocolates and quickly fall behind the conveyor belt. prompting Lucy to stuff candy into her mouth in desperation. For the episode, Desi Arnaz cast a real candy dipper, Amanda Milligan, whom he found at the Fairfax Avenue Farmers Market. He believed her calm, mechanical movements would be the perfect contrast to Lucy's chaos. But when filming began, Lucille Ball grew nervous. Milligan never smiled, leaving everyone unsure if the scene was even funny. The uncertainty vanished during the take. When Milligan was supposed to gently hit Lucy, she delivered a full-force smack instead. Ball later said she thought her nose was broken. When Lucy confronted her afterward, Milligan simply replied, "That's what you wanted, wasn't it?" The original pilot for I Love Lucy was not seen until 1990. In 1989, CBS stumbled upon a long-lost I Love Lucy Christmas special and aired it to huge ratings. That success sparked a wider search, leading to the discovery of the show's original 1951 pilot, filmed by Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz in New York, but never broadcast. The kinescope survived only because Arnaz had given a copy to Pepito, a clown who appeared on the show. Years later, his widow passed it along to former CBS executive B. Donald Grant. CBS aired the rediscovered pilot on April 30, 1990, as I Love Lucy, the very first show. According to AP News, nearly 40 million viewers tuned in to watch the 34-minute black-and-white episode, filmed at Ball and Arnaz's own expense on March 10, 1951. The special was hosted by their daughter, Lucy Arnaz, who, fittingly, Ball was pregnant with during that very pilot. The episode never aired originally because the show was retooled after landing sponsor Philip Morris. As Stefan Canfer explains in Ball on Fire, early elements, like a major role for Arnaz's agent, were cut to keep the focus on the couple. The Ricardos were reshaped into a more relatable working-class pair, Fred and Ethel Mertz were added, and I Love Lucy became the classic audiences know today.